This has been an absolutely spectacular and destructive batting performance by Delhi. Put into bat by Kane Williamson. He thought he'd be doing all right because they had picked up 3 wickets at the 10-over mark. The 100 hadn't come up then, and it was important for Warner and Powell to keep playing. Jeez, even their dugout wouldn't expected them to play this much. Warner 92 not out of 58. Powell 67 not out of 35. Absolute, total, utter mayhem. Total destruction from the both of them. The ball flying to all parts of the stadium, sometimes outside the stadium, into people's houses, onto cars, destroying shops. It's just been a great batting display. This is Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Lisa Sthalekar and Shaun Pollock. Lisa, it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but only mildly.
Only mildly. I don't know about the shops. I think maybe a couple of houses were in danger. Absolutely. Just powerful hitting. We spoke at the 10-over mark saying these two needed to go really deep. They went all the way, which was an absolute bonus. And you can see the difference when you have the top order batting all the way through the innings and what they're able to do at the back end and really exploit the pace, the misexecution from Sunrisers bowlers.
Yeah, Polly, you couldn't dream up a better death overs scenario for Delhi, right?
Yeah, that was fantastic striking. And that's when you go to the auction, you pick your individuals. That's what you're after, aren't you? You're trying to get those match winners. You try and get those impact players to be positioned at the right time. You want Warner to be piling on the runs, getting a big score. You want Powell to be coming in the back end and really being as destructive as possible. So they must be really upbeat. It hasn't gone according to plan for them batting-wise this whole season so far, but that's a bit of a blueprint for them. And they'll be hoping that takes them over the line.
Yeah, this partnership that we're talking about, Rovman Powell and David Warner, geez, it was spectacular. The last over was Umran Malik, and David Warner didn't even get strike in that. He was at 92, but applauding every shot that Rovman Powell was hitting. They've got 122 in 66 balls. So there's been destruction. But Lisa, I love that from Warner. I have to tell you, because the 3-figure landmark means a lot. Hundreds mean a lot, especially to David Warner, who's got a truckload of 50s now in the IPL. And hundreds mean a lot, but it didn't to him. The team score meant more to him, applauding every shot by Powell. No, let's take a single, get me back on strike.
No, and he knew that sometimes when a player, someone like a Rovman Powell is in that zone, just let him go. Because the bowler at the other end is there shaking in his boots going, where do I put this next delivery? I try and go Yorker, I miss. I try and go wide of the stumps. He goes over cover. What do? I go short. He had all the answers. And even at the end, the last ball that actually went through to the keeper, you actually saw the fact that it went through the keeper and he ran. Now, he could have been run out, but it didn't matter. That's one extra run to their total, which is really important.
Yeah. Polly, you can tell me if you want to just make a well left, but you have to say something nice about something nice that an Australian player has done. You're up for that? Is that okay?
Come on, Polly. Do it.
Yeah, that's all cool.
Do this.
I think he's always been a good team player. I think he's one of those guys. I mean, the way he runs between the wickets, he comes back for 2s and 3s. That's your partner's runs that he's often charging back to accumulate. And I think they were just so happy with the situation that at the back end there, he wasn't concerned. I mean, there was no guarantee he would be able to get his 8 runs anyway, but the striking power of Powell and the way he was going, he understood. When I say he, Warner understood the value for the team, and he was more than excited for that. He knows he's done a brilliant job today, whether it's 100 or 92 not out. It was fantastic from him, so it doesn't really take away from much of his performance. But I think they wanted to get over that 200.
Yeah, and they did. They got to 207 for 3. Just a word, Lisa, on Warner's fitness, because Polly just mentioned how he's running. And just to do that, I'm in Mumbai. The heat, the humidity, it's stifling, right? It's stifling. He must have sweat a bucket or 2 at least. And he's on the wrong side of 35. That's some intense amount of fitness to do that for 20 overs.
Yeah, he's changed a lot over the years. Now, you look at his early photos when it was the Delhi Daredevils, and he was like a little bit of a pudgy guy, and he'd probably be the first to admit it. But his wife, Candace Warner, she was an athlete herself, an Iron Woman, and basically said, I never drank alcohol when I was playing. He went through a period where he didn't do that as well, and he lost a lot of weight. He does a lot of sprint training. That's something that he does back home in Australia. You see him on Randwick Oval doing all of his sprints, and he's so quick. And what he can do between the wickets, but also on the boundary, and we see it often, he saves a lot of runs as well and scores those extra singles or that doubling up. And to do it in the heat, impressive.
Yeah, well, see, there's a big lesson for youngsters there to learn, which is running with your spouse is better than running away from your spouse. All right, so train together. That's what you need to do, and they've done it. They've got the job done. Well, let's talk about Rovman Powell. He showed us signs, Polly, in the previous games. It was a slow start for him for the tournament. And then the last 3 games, he was showing us those signs. Today, he has completely come good on the promise that Delhi saw when they picked him up. That was some proper, wait for it, Powell hitting.
Yeah, it was some Powell hitting for sure. And those biceps, once they get going, those forearms that he possesses, I think he's increased his time that opposition are going to have a look at him in the team chats and the video analysis by about 2 or 3-fold. I think they're going to have to try with some severe good plans. The short pitch delivery worked well against him and some of the wide Yorkers. But if you miss your spot, the amount of power he possesses, he's probably got a nice heavy bat there as well. But if it hits anywhere near the middle, what we've seen, 108, 106, some massive sixes there. So that's what he's capable of. And that's why Delhi was so keen to get him.
I think there was 1-6 that I think went up 100 meters. I don't know about the distance, but definitely went up 100 meters. And I heard Harsha on air say it brought a bit of the night sky down with it. And that's a great description because it did. I think it hit a star and came down. But that was Powell. But also, Lisa, if he gives you a chance, it could be a rocket. But when he gives you a chance, you don't drop him.
You can't drop him, not someone in that form. And you said that he started slow, but he started to get a couple of 30 odds, and now this has been his best innings by far. And the unfortunate thing is when he hits it, it goes like an absolute rocket. Yeah.
But Kane Williamson is the kind of, maybe a rocket, but Kane Williamson is the kind of fielder that 11 times out of 10, you'd expect him to make that catch. But Paulie, today, I don't know what it was. Was the ball wet? Was there butter on it? I don't know. But some of the fielding, there was a few misses. There was a few, ball touching and going past the rope. There was a few of those. Too many for Hyderabad's liking.
Yeah, and in all honesty, when we're looking at the bowling attack that you have and the ability to have an impact, your fielders are just as important. If they can implement a run out or take a brilliant catch or just take the ones that come to them. It was hit hard to Kane Williamson on the edge of the circle there, but maybe the extra speed, and we don't really know how hard it's gone to him and how hard it's hit the hands, and maybe that's why it pops out. But you can't afford to give players of the ability and strength and power of a Powell too many extra opportunities, because eventually they will make you pay. And good surface, smallish ground, and you've got to take your chance when you get it. And there was 2 or 3 or even maybe 4 chances where they could have got him back into the pavilion, and that probably would have prevented Delhi from getting over the 200 mark.
Yeah, I think the biggest highlight of today, and Paulie, that would have made you very happy, Umran Malik clocking 157 kilometers per hour on the speed gun. I think Powell sent him back at 257 because that's how good he was in form. But 157, that is immense.
Yeah, and when you're disappearing like that, it's an angry ball, and it's a ball that's also assisted by a bit of adrenaline as you charge in there, because you're not sure if that ball's going to come back at you quickly. But he's talked up trying to get to 155. Well, he's topped it. He's got to 157, and I don't see anyone else catching him during the RPL.
Yeah, that's not gonna. They're not gonna break that 157. I don't know if Nokia gets fired up today with all the runs behind him. It could, but coming off injury, so he may
Slow
want
and
to take it
steady.
easy.
Come on, we need to
Slow and
stay.
steady.
We need him on the park, or Delhi need him on the park.
Easy now, easy. Let's have a look at how the bowlers went otherwise. I think the standout performer there is Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Lisa, to go at a runner ball almost when your team's given 207, that's another level. It seems like he was playing another game by himself.
Yeah, so clever. I mean, the fact with the new ball, he's able to swing it both ways helps as well. But even when it's not swinging, he's got all of the tricks to be able to really cope with players going hard, and just it's so good to see him back to his best because he is such a key for Sunrise and also India.
14 dot balls bowled there, Polly, and that's what you do, right? I mean, especially the first over that he bowled to Mandeep. Mandeep had no idea what was going on. Right? He was just playing with the batter, wasn't he?
Yeah, using his skills, and I love to see that, particularly with the fast bowlers. I mean, obviously the spinners come into their own with their variations, and they can bowl the googlies and the leggies and go for the different options that they have. But there's only a short period of time where, as a swing bowler, which Bhuvi is, you can use that to your advantage. And to bowl 12 of the first 18 deliveries in the match, I think what the score was 12 for 1 after 3 overs, and that was down to his contribution and the in swing, the out swing. I mean, I love to see that. Too often these days, unfortunately, we see guys trying to hug the wide line and trying to bowl the ball as far away from the batter as possible. So it's great just to see the old-fashioned skills of being able to get that ball to move through the air and using it so effectively and so brilliantly. Was really nice to watch.
And both ways, Lisa. That's what actually foxed Mandeep.
Yeah, correct. I mean, you kind of get set and you understand, okay, this is the field. He's going to take it away from me. I'm a right-hander. Just don't expect him to be able to execute so well with his line and length. So very hard to play because it moves late as well. And that's what is effective. Sometimes if the ball's swinging from the hand, it's easier to play because you can see it once it's gone and been released. But when it moves late, that's absolute gold.
Polly, your old mate Dale Staines got to put his arm around Umran Malik because he got that 5-4 against Gujarat. And then in his next 2 games, his 8 overs have gone for 100. This is when you really need to sit the kid down and say, all right, don't worry, we'll work this out.
Yeah, it is. And it's a learning curve for him. He's still young and he'll develop something. But that's why you do think, pace is a fantastic ingredient to have. It's a beautiful raw ingredient to have, but you have to learn a couple of options to go with it because against the better players in the world, against the guys who face pace consistently, like someone like a Warner from Australia, you get guys who bowl quick there and the ball comes on at high speed. You do need to learn the art of somehow being a little bit more effective. The raw speed's not going to get you through on certain days. But I think some of the other guys like Kapil and Tyagi, I mean, they must also be happy with what they've done. It's a difficult day, difficult surface, really easy. 2 guys set, not having played much cricket themselves. They can't be too upset. Tyagi, 37. He's got 10 dot balls in there. Gopal, I mean, he got hit for that 1 over. But besides that, he picked up the wicket and bowled some good stuff in between as well. So he can't be too upset. Even Abbott, the fact that he hasn't played was a difficult match to come in. And when I say difficult, pitch-wise, and the fact that they got that partnership with 2 destructive players at the back end. Yeah,
it feels like the batters also will have to make sure they don't carry any of that trauma out to bat now because it's a big total, but it's been done on this ground before. So it may be big, Lisa, but it's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible because we know it's a lightning outfield. There's normally one side shorter than the other. So if you can exploit that, then you're going to be in with the runs. So again, like Delhi were able to do, they just need a good partnership, someone from the top order to go big, and they can absolutely chase this down. But it's something that we haven't yet seen from Hyderabad. They've been quite comfortable kind of chasing down modest totals. Well, here's a really good chance for them to kind of show that they're up and about for the IPL in the back end of the tournament.
Yeah, they don't have Washington Sundar at 7, so that because he's not playing. So haven't seen Sean Abbott bat, Lisa.
He whacks him. Yeah? Don't worry.
Right. Yeah. All right. So
he's got the ability to clear the boundary, and there's been a number of times for the Sydney Sixers that he's got them over the line as well. He kind of bats that 6-7 mark. and has done the job for him in the past. But we know the IPL is another beast.
Yeah, true it is. But you've got Shashank Singh there as well. He took Loki Ferguson to the cleaners in one game. And then, of course, all the other batters are in form. Kane Williamson getting the runs, sort of, not that many, but the strike rate, that's the problem. He can't play at the 100 strike rate now when your team needs to go at over 10 and over. So there's a few things there. Let's have a look at the bowling attack for Delhi real quick to remind you, because they made, a lot of changes in their bowling. They've got Andrik Nokia back in to the side. They've got Khalil Ahmed back into the side, and Ripple Patel is playing in place of Akshar, who's injured. So today, I think Polly Shardul's overs are really important. He's not been bowling his quota. There's Akshar who puts on the choke hold, right? So they'll miss those overs for sure, because he's not very expensive. He's a very clever bowler, not a big spinner, but a clever bowler mixing up his line and length. But today they need it from Shardul, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I'm also interested to see how Kuldeep goes, because we didn't really see a spinner who's going to turn the ball much on that surface. So if you can get it to purchase. I think what Sunrisers will look to do as well is try and target the two guys who've come back in. Nokia very much underdone coming into this match. And I think it actually might work in Williamson's favor. He can't afford just to fiddle around. He's actually just got to forget about his form, forget about everything, and just try and really get them off to a fast start. So that might work in their favor. But they've got a lot of balance. They've got a lot of options. And I think Pant will have to use them cleverly.
Yeah, Shardul did get a few wickets in the previous game they played. He does that. That's what we're used to with Shardul, that he comes in and he makes some magic happen. So maybe the last game was the sign of the tide turning for him in this tournament. Probably get his full quota of overs and get a few wickets. All right. Well, our predictions, of course, were woefully wrong in the first innings, thanks to Powell and Warner going nuts. So what do we do here with the power play? All right, let's go power play. Hyderabad power play. Lisa, we start with you.
Well, I'm not going to speak to my minions because they threw me into the river. So I'm going to go myself. I'm going to go 47, Polly.
That's a very safe guess.
47. Okay, I'll go 55.
Oh, I'm going to jam it somewhere in the middle there. I'm going to go smack in the middle with 51.
Okay.
47, 51, 55.
Game on.
Any over, and it's obviously advantage Hyderabad. Any under, and it's advantage Delhi. So it's very clear. It's very clear. That's why we're sitting right there in the middle. All right. Talking about the middle, we'll be here in the middle of that innings at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. That's a little update to see how Hyderabad is doing with this 208 target that Delhi has set for them. Remember the repercussions of this match point-wise. If Delhi wins, they displace Hyderabad in the 5th position and they go above them. So that means Delhi will be in the top 5. But if Hyderabad can manage to chase this down, they go into 3rd position on the table. So a lot at stake with this game. All right, that's all we have time for. Big thank you to Lisa and Shaun. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you in a bit.